What's good, guys? It's TSG. In today's video, we're going to be talking to another nominee for the Ethlizards Council. And today, I have with me Iluanor. What's going on, my man?
Hey, man. All good. Happy to be here. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm actually really glad that you're here because we were just saying before we started recording that my first time ever live was with you on Skyrox's stream. So it's a nice little full circle that we have you back on my channel now, which is quite cool.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I remember it. Yeah. Sorry for the face. It's kind of look weird. The light is wrong, and I'm on the laptop, so
it's absolutely fine. You look amazing, man. The shirt is more important than anything.
The shirt is more important, right? Yeah.
But all right, man. Let's get straight into it. Let's jump into the questions. So with the current proposed structure of the council, switching into the VC GameFi VC fund that we're looking to do with Ethlizards, the proposed structure includes a VC role, a GameFi role, a DeFi role, and a whale. Which of those roles do you think that you would fit?
So I remember that it's in the white paper. It's a suggested plan, right? We don't necessarily have to do that. I think I fit mostly in the whale one. They are way bigger whale than me, but I might be still in the top 10 or top 6.
Yeah.
I got 56 plus 1 gen, so very small compared to Lizident, but but still kind of a whale. I got a lot of exposure in DeFi, but I'm not a DeFi founder or anything like that.
Yep. Yeah, I think comparing anyone to Lizident, we're all pretty small, man. All right, cool. So let's move on to the next question, and that is more about the actual investing side of things with the Ethlizards and what we're going to be doing in the future. When it comes to investing in projects, what would be some of the main things, the key factors that you'd be looking at a project that would make you want to invest into it?
So it's going to be probably speaking with the founder. When you speak with people, so in my previous role, I had a lot of interaction with vendors. I had to select them. We acquire some, etc. And who you're speaking with is super, super relevant. And sometimes they might not have all the best perfect answer, but you might like them better than somebody that had them, but just do not fit with what you kind of like or think should be. But then question, well, definitely trying to know more about the founder feedback. I think most project works better when at least one of the founder is from the tech side. You know, there's a typical joke between a developer or even on TikTok where you got an MBA that come and say, hey guys, you'll do all this for me. You'll create everything. I'll give you 10%. And they're like, dude, we can do it without you. And you cannot do anything alone. So I think it's relevant to have some developer. Again, it depends. Connections, like is there anybody willing to vouch for them? I think it's super relevant to me. For instance, Illuvium being related to synthetics gave a lot of, relevance and trust, because
credibility,
it's not just one guy that, credibility, thanks. So because it's not like Kane is kind of playing his image with Illuvium, right? He's an investor, he was in the first council. This adds a lot in credibility. Then which blockchain it is in. I'm an ETH maxi a bit more every day. I was not, but and it includes L2. If it's on Solana, well, Solana is really pushed by FTX, like BSC is pushed by Binance.
Yeah.
If it's a private blockchain, I'm not, not private, but centralized blockchain, I'm not super convinced. Then the amount they want to raise and how much they're willing to give us, it's like the whitelist in NFT. If they're willing to give you 1,000 whitelist and they got 2,000, it's weird. And then also who is in this with you, right? So the good thing of this is it's a private equity, right? It's a private equity firm in a way, a private equity DAO. And you can ask as many questions as you want. Nothing is public. Nothing. It's not like a public company where a lot of things cannot be said if they're not said to everybody else. So they can tell us with who else is on the list to be investing. Mm-hmm. Depending the names here, it's also it adds credibility. If you're the first or only one, it's not the same. And then the actual valuation. I think I really like the idea of free seed more than seed. But then I like seed more than anything else. But those pre-seed need to be at a price that makes sense. Right? I've seen some protocol that start at pre-seed of 50 million or plus, and Illuvium started at less than that. So So yeah, I think that's one of the main points I would look at.
Okay, so just diving in a little bit deeper about those things, if I could ask you to, like, because you mentioned quite a few things, which is obviously a good thing to have, but if you could essentially prioritize those things, maybe in top three, in like priorities wise. So would number one, I'm guessing by your answer mentioning the team first, that's going to be number one. But what would number two and number three be in terms of priority? Because a lot of things are important, but for you, the most important in that way, yeah.
Well, probably then the who is willing to vouch for them, plus kind of combine with who they're speaking with. I think it's kind of related if you have framework investing in them. And lastly will be the vision, like what is actually the project, what is their vision, how they plan to grow. If I have to stop there. But actually, more ideas coming up, like the vesting time, etc.
Yeah. All right, man. So I'm now going to go into a scenario here, a couple of scenarios, and I want to get your perspectives on them and your thoughts. So let's say that for some reason the Ethlizards funds have kind of dried up. We've made a few bad investments or a lot of bad investments, and we are now holding a limited amount of ETH. How would you, if it was only up to you, how would you like to deploy that capital? Would you like to go in a more high conviction, just go all in, or would you prefer to take maybe a safer option and spread it out? How would you like to see that happen? Slowly deploy that? How would you like to use that capital in a situation like that where it was limited? And how would you like to go about that?
I get that. Well, first, it's not a situation. Like the reality is the vault is still small, right? There are several wells, many wells in the Lizard that got more funds than the actual DAO. That's something obviously we want to fix, and with Pre-seed it's possible. Now, if we were in a situation where we messed up that much already, it would be super complicated. But they are a way to be creative, right? So for instance, I'm interacting with protocol like Maple and Centrifuge, etc. They have funds that just get loans to leverage position and get money when they need it. I'm not saying we should do that. I'm saying there are a lot of opportunities. Even if we didn't have money, let's say the Lizard do not have a vault, but let's say we have a lot of supports. Well, if we can convince investor to add money in a vault, which we pay 10% or 15% a year, and we got access to Pre-seed with vesting period that would allow us to pay that, well, we would be able to get through even if we didn't have this money. So again, not saying we have to do that. I'm just saying it's a possibility, and that's definitely what I would do if we didn't add any money.
Okay, interesting, very interesting. All right, so now let's flip the script a bit. And let's say we've been extremely successful with our ventures, and we now have an excess of funds. And so, for example, there aren't enough what we deem as good quality investments out there, and we have leftover funds, or we can't deploy all of our funds fast enough. What would you like to see us do with that excess of funds, excess of capital? How would you like to see that used? What do you think there?
To me, there's no such thing as excess of capital.
Yeah, of course. It is a fun question. Now, it's just.
But no such thing like if you think, but if you think only of Pre-seed, yeah, I get it. Like we could get off in a point where it's not enough. If you start speaking of seeds, where you can put $500,000 in a seed, and let's say for whatever reason we already invested in all the good game, which I think is, not likely, as Vance said on YouTube with Bankless, like there are hundreds of games that are coming. Then there's DeFi. I think DeFi is really relevant still. You have protocol, again, like those that I mentioned before, and Weather will be the next one that are almost 12 months old only, already have a pretty good return even in the bear market, and will have a 50, 100x. So I would definitely look at that if I had too much money, ideally in something that is still super small. Okay.
All right. So let's move on from that scenario. And the next question I have, and I'm almost certain I know what your answer is going to be. But what are your thoughts and opinions on the team's decision to allow council members to remain undoxxed if that is what they wish?
So actually, I don't know if I'll have the answer you think. So I'm always in favor of having people doxed.
Okay. Yeah, that's not what I was
Because
expecting.
if not, yeah, which then it has issue, right? If we had to be doxed, I would not be nominating, right? I would not be here. But there are intermediate steps. So if you're not doxed at all, you can say you're the nephew of Warren Buffett or Bill Gates or Elon Musk, and that it will guide you in investment. And and like, how do I check that? People can say whatever they want. They have companies, they have success, etc. There's no way to check anything. Basically, who creates a better story, right? And then it's a popularity contest since nothing can be reviewed. Now, if you ask for people to get doxed, some are willing to do that. I really thought about it, then decide not, and you're losing some candidates that could be relevant. But then there's the intermediary, which is you could be doxed to some people, right? Most people do not want to be doxed broadly and everybody knows them. But if you're doxed to Kieran or to the team, 1 or 2 person that can check your LinkedIn, speak with you, confirm it's your face, and have an email from your work email and kind of check that, okay, what he's saying seems to be real. I think it's a nice middle ground.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. No one's brought that up before. So that's an interesting take on it. Yeah, have an intermediary, like a doxing, a partial doxing, I guess you could call it that, to relevant people, and have that. Yeah, that's an interesting take. All right, man. So let's end off with, I've got 2 last questions, 2 fun questions. So you knocked all the serious ones out of the park. So actually, this one you've actually already answered. But how many lizards do you actually have?
Not enough.
Not enough. That's a good answer.
That's the only answer, right? And there are many that I would like to have that I don't have. But I have 56 plus 1 Genesis.
Yeah.
1 given by
Kieran.
Yeah, good. 1 given by Kieran on Twitter. Yeah. And the first one I had OTC with Vetemo.
Yeah. I still have the one from Kieran as well. That's never leaving my wallet.
Unsellable. You cannot.
Yeah, exactly. Yo, do you know where you stand in the so you still reckon you're in the top 10, right? I'm sure you are.
I think I am. Like, you got the 2 super big 217. Then I think you got 2 at 91. I think then it's a contract. For some reason, there is a black hole there, and I think I was next. Maybe the sweeping panda that got 1 more than me, and then it's me. Okay, it was like that 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. I wonder why the 2 number ones don't just buy 1 more to become solidified number 1. I've always wondered that.
Oh, you didn't follow that? They did. They did many times. I've been following. Really? They used to have way less. Yes, they had one. Like Liziden had 100, I think 68 when we had the first vote that was cancelled for the VC thing, and then they're being kind of competing. One was buying, then the other one was buying 2, the other one was buying 2. So, and then I think they agreed and they say, "Dude, can we stop that? Let's agree to stay at the same number."
Right. Yeah. I always wondered. I was like, man, it's not hard to buy 1 more. I mean, but yeah, no, that's fair. All right.
But I think, like, just and not attacking anything like that, but I think it's a bit too much. When you got the community growing, etc. And if you look at the apes or stuff like that, well, when you got somebody with a lot, it's something that brings fears to a few. Like, what happened if they dump? So of course, I think at some point could be good to offload a bit, but
Yep. No, that's a fair statement. All right, man. So the final question, and the most important question I think of them all, is what is your favorite Ethlizard trait?
So that's super easy, but I think it's not the answer you want. My favorite Ethlizard trait is legendary.
The legendary, man. That's an easy answer.
But aside from that, the red planet. I think the red planet is, undervalued. I like the red eyes also, which also super undervalued but rare. So red eyes with red planet.
The Shuriken one, right? Like the Naruto eyes. Is that the red eyes you're talking about?
No. There are one that are. It's one of the rarest, not the rarest, like the super.
I know what you're talking about.
There's one which is like plain red, and it's not popular. Maybe because it's kind of not as detailed, but has its thing.
Yeah. No, I've got one that's like I think it's awesome. It's got a red black background. He's a red lizard, and he's got the red shuriken eyes. So it's just red, red, red. I think it looks sick.
Yep.
But yeah,
you need the red nose also, which is pretty rare.
that would be nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, man. Yo, honestly, thank you so much for coming on and answering all these questions. Where, if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that? Is it via Discord? Is it via Twitter?
Yeah, both. Like I think Discord is an easy one. Like if you probably cannot DM me, you just send me an invite, like for a friend request. I will reject always any friend request from somebody that did not ping me somewhere before, because in general they're scam. But it just ping me on, Lizard, Illuvium, anywhere. Tell me you'll have a friend request, or just ask there, and happy to answer there. I can answer in French, in Spanish, in English. You pick your language.
Awesome. All good, man. So yeah, is there anything else that you kind of want to leave us with before we call it a day? Any points you want to have? Like anyone you want to shout out? Anything like that?
Yeah, I definitely think that Marmalade is a really good one. Initially, I was just planning to just support him and go behind him. Then, I've been asked to participate. I was doubting, and there is this lizard given to the council, which also, give envy, even if it's not transferable. I'm like,
Yeah.
And I just think the field is super interesting. The lizard have a big potential. And now it's all going to be not just about the investment, which this council is dedicated to that, but there is a lot that can be done with the babies. We'll see what the goblin did, and we could have the goblin leaves set up, like the fat cat have been setting up like in 3 days. There's a lot of other stuff that can be done on the side that could keep adding value. So just that.
Awesome. Again, man, yo, honestly, thank you so much for coming on. I'll definitely chat with you. We'll try to tee something up outside of this as well. But thank you for coming on. Everyone, I appreciate you all for watching. If you're interested in this type of content, I've got more of these interviews. I've got a couple more coming out. I've got a playlist for them. So just stay informed with each nominee and really decide on who you want to vote for, because I think this is super important. And this governance side of things in crypto is a growing thing, and I think it's really important that we participate. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy this type of content, like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.